What's up, you guys? Sean Ross Sapp, Fightful.com, FightfulMMA.com. UFC train keeps on rolling this weekend with another fight on Saturday. This one headlined by a very good one. Very good one. Poirier versus Hooker. This main event looks like it is going to be incredible. There are some fun-looking fights on this show, but it's not exactly the most high-profile event, so to speak. It is definitely one of the lower quality as far as name value goes. Not a lot of meat on the bone here as far as ranked fighters or anything like that goes. But, we're still here to talk about it. We're still making it happen. We have Jin Yu Frey taking on Kay Hansen in a strawweight bout, I believe it is. Jin Yu Frey coming over to the UFC on short notice. She is a plus 155 underdog against the minus 175 Kay Hansen. Wouldn't put it past Jin Yu Frey to emerge victorious with the upset here. But I don't know if it's going to be one of my I got 5 on it yet, because there are some healthy picks on here for that. I look up at some of these other fights, and there are some evenly matched ones, like Felipe Lins, who's been a little bit of everywhere. He is a minus 105 against Tanner Boser, who is minus 115. This is a heavyweight fight, and Felipe Lins has, even though he lost to Arlovsky, man, he's been around the block. He's been in Bellator. He didn't do good there. He's been at PFL. He's done great there, and he's made some money there. Now, he had a couple good fights in Bellator early on, but he's been fighting for like 15 years, and he's a heavyweight. I think he's actually going to emerge victorious here. He's a minus 105, as I said, so not a lot of betting action here that I'd be willing to put on this as a heavyweight fight at the very least. You have Julian Erosa, a plus 330 massive underdog against the minus 400 Sean Woodson. Now, this is one of those fights where I'm like, man, is the experience gonna play a role? Julian Erosa lost his way out of the UFC. He came in after Contender Series and lost 3 straight fights, one in February, and got brought back to face Sean Woodson. Sean Woodson, however, 28 years old, 7-0. He's shown that he can knock you out. He's shown he can tap you out, and he can take it to the scorecards. He's a Contender Series project too that showed back up in October and won his UFC debut. At plus 330, I might have 5 on Erosa here. I don't know if I'm willing to say, yeah, this guy who's been fighting for 10 years. Now, keep in mind, Woodson's been fighting for about 8 or 9 years. It's just, as a pro, it's been like 5. But Erosa's been fighting for 10 years, has had over 30 fights, and Woodson's had about 7. That might lead me to go the I got 5 on it route with Erosa. You have Jordan Griffin, a plus 100 underdog against Youssef Zalal, who is a minus 120. Again, Griffin, much more experienced, has about 2.5 times the experience as Zalal, but that's not always a good thing. Zalal has looked very good of late in LFA and UFC. Even the fight that he lost last May against Matt Jones was a split decision, so you could argue that he should be 9-1. I do have him winning this one. Ramiz Brahimaj is plus 110 underdog against the minus 130 Takashi Sato. I just love watching Takashi Sato in there, man. I just love it. It's always fun. It's always fun. I cannot remember the last Takashi Sato fight that I've seen that wasn't good. And I think I've watched them all in like the past 5 years since his Pancrase days. The guy comes and he throws down for better or for worse, and I love that. I got him winning this. Mara Romero Barrera, a plus 250 underdog against the minus 300 Miranda Maverick. Now, Mara came into the UFC, and I thought that she was going to be a lot different than what she was. She showed up and beat Kalindra Faria, and I was like, damn, that's impressive, because this was also off of her win against Milana Didavia in Invicta. So I thought that good things were in the cards for her. And when she lost to Caitlin Chikagian, I thought, you know what, maybe a little early for that fight anyway. It's just, you're going to run into Caitlin Chikagian in that division. She beat Talia Santos, and I was like, all right, this is the Mara Romero Barella that I thought that we'd see. But Lauren Murphy, Montana De La Rosa, Courtney Casey, she lost all those fights, and some of them pretty one-sided. So I don't look at her as a top name in that division. Miranda Maverick has done incredibly well for herself over the last year. From the Phoenix series and Invicta to beating Pearl Gonzalez. This is a big leap for her. Now, however, she has not fought anybody. She's not fought in the UFC before. That's why I'm like, maybe a plus 250. I got 5 on it on Mara Romero Barella. But it looks, by all intents and purposes, like the 22-year-old Miranda Maverick is on the ascent. But we have seen too many of those ascents stopped by pure experience. Pure experience. So while I'm going with Maverick, I think I got to put 5 on Mara Romero Barella. I think I got to put 5 on it, just in case. Kama Worthy, a plus 220 underdog against the minus 260 Luis Pena. Luis Pena, again, this is one of those experience versus momentum fights. Luis Pena has won 3 of his last 4. Kama Worthy has won his last fight. He's in the UFC. He's had trouble getting into the cage because of coronavirus cancellations. But he's looked really good the last 2 years, specifically in Pinnacle FC, in 24/7 FC, and then when he knocked out Devontae Smith. I'm not convinced that he doesn't have what it takes to beat Luis Pena. I might have 4. There's like 5 good I got 5 on it's here. I think Kama Worthy is a good I got 5 on it. And I might even pick him to win this fight. Well, John Volante against Maurice Greene. John Volante is a plus 190. Maurice Greene is a minus 230. And damn, man. Anytime I see John Volante in there as an underdog, I'm willing to put 5 on him. He beat Ed Herman and Anthony Peroche and Corey Anderson. He's beaten some okay guys. But this is where I got to kind of draw the line because I haven't seen him win since 2018. And Maurice Greene has lost a couple fights in a row too. And they were at heavyweight. And John Volante's moving up here. So I don't know how that will affect him. To me, him moving up to heavyweight in general is maybe worth I got 5 on it. But Maurice Greene has been fighting there for a long time, albeit not at a great deal of success. So it's a little iffy for me. It's a little iffy for me. I'm going to go with Maurice Greene. Brendan Allen, a minus 300 against Kyle Ducasse, a plus 250. Kyle Ducasse undefeated. He is 9-0. He has not fought in the UFC, but he did fight on Contender Series months ago. He won that fight, and they're bringing him in, giving him a shot. Brendan Allen, a minus 230. He came off Contender Series last year around the same time and has won 2 UFC fights since then. I got to go with him, and I really like watching him fight. It's not often that you get a middleweight that finishes people at the rate that he does, but he's on a 6-fight winning streak, and 5 of those fights are finishes. I think he's only won 1 fight via decision his entire career. A couple of his losses were to decision. Apologies. To decision. One of them against Anthony Hernandez, who's now in the UFC as well. Oh, boy. Mike Perry is a minus 310 favorite against Mickey Gall, the plus 255. Boy, if this ain't a battle of one of them's gotta win. Mickey Gall, of course, he beat CM Punk. He is, 5-2 in the UFC, but has not been able to get into the cage. Condit got hurt, and then they canceled his fight against Alex Oliveira in February. Mike Perry has lost 3 of his last 4. He is not very good. Make no mistake. Mike Perry made his name taking a short notice fight against Chung Yu Lim, being an underdog and knocking him out, then coming back 6 weeks later, beating Danny Roberts, and then he lost to Alan Juban, but he went and finished Ellenberger and Reyes. And since then, he's gotten some decent fights based on that. Ponzinibbio, he lost. They scaled him back, and he faced Max Griffin, and it was an awesome fight, but he lost it, and he was a heavy favorite there. He got the Paul Felder fight because of that, and Paul Felder was moving up in weight. An awesome fight. He fought Donald Cerrone, lost, and got tapped out in pretty exhilarating fashion. He fought Alex Oliveira, had a great fight, great entertaining fight. He fought Vicente Luque, had a great entertaining fight. That's his thing. He goes there, he throws down. I don't know how the guy's still in the UFC based on some of the dumb shit he said, but he's winning this fight. Dan Hooker, a plus 180 against the minus 220. Dustin Poirier. Dustin Poirier is real good. Dan Hooker is real good. Do not let that 20-8 record fool you. Dan Hooker has won 8 of his last 9. This is not the Dan Hooker that we necessarily saw a few years ago that was tapping everybody out and knocking everybody out. But this fight is going to be a banger, but it would not surprise me if this goes to a scorecard. It would not. It's one of those fights that you look at and you're like, oh, man, something's going to happen. Something's going to happen. I don't know if something's going to happen. I don't know. Dustin Poirier, his gas tank for 5-round fight, well, we don't quite know it. We've never seen him go that far. Dan Hooker, I think maybe he went 5 rounds with Paul Felder, so we know that's there. And he won that. It was a split decision, but it was close. To me, it's accuracy versus activity. And I think that's going to be the difference. Whoever can mesh their striking accuracy with their striking activity is going to be able to emerge victorious here. We will have full live coverage of this. Come over, talk in our discussion boards at the bottom of the page. We're going to have full live coverage of this show. We've got our pick 'em up. Check it out, guys. Leave a thumbs up, subscribe. We might have some cool things coming to Fightful MMA. Until next time, we're out.